everybody, and welcome to season 1, episode 8 of No Strings Just Candor. If you are new here, No Strings Just Candor is a podcast that I decided to start where we talk about HR, mental health, and just overall life, right? It's just the main idea for No Strings Just Candor is empowerment, lifting other people's up, and letting people know that they're not alone. For those that are coming back, thank you so much. This is episode 8. It is going to be a wild ride because I am sick. So I am hoping, I always say it's going to be a quick one and it ends up not being a quick one. So I'm going to hope that it's a quick one. And yeah, so last week you all saw me with note cards that I made myself, that I laminated, printed out. And there is actually like a very good reason, other than the fact that they haven't gotten delivered. The reason is that I didn't want to. So the reason is that I didn't want to. And that kind of ties into what we are speaking about today. It is so hot in this room. Give me 1 second and I'll come back. I think much better. So, Det, how's your mental health? My mental health is great. I just let my girlfriend cut my hair in the bathroom, and not too long ago, it was up to here. So, I just let her trim me a bit. So, if that doesn't go to tell you how my mental health is doing, then I don't know what to tell you. So, what we're talking about today is taking a break. Taking a break, and if you're not up for doing things, just don't do them because that is your body's way of really yelling at you. And I didn't take my Vyvanse this morning, so I am going to be shifting a lot. And for all of you who are my fellow ADHDers, you will understand. For those of you who are not, you will get to understand by the end of this. So the reason I wanted to do today is because I really woke up and I talked to my best friend, and I've been sick. I don't know what's been going around recently, where for the past 2 to 3 weeks, I've been weirdly sick, but not sick. So I feel congested around my eyes. I feel congested, like I keep sneezing. I feel sick, but I don't have a fever. I keep testing for the sickness that everybody tests for. I really don't want YouTube to cancel me because I say a certain word, but I keep testing. I keep coming out negative. I don't know what's wrong. I keep taking vitamin C. I took cold medicine, and it's just kind of stays there. It's lingering. So it's making my body not feel great, but I can't say that I'm sick because I'm still kind of functional. I don't know. Today, I wanted to let you know that if your body really is asking for it, because I feel like my body has been asking for it. For example, yesterday, it was Sunday. Yesterday was football Sunday here at the house. My girlfriend has unfortunately made me a fan of one of the worst NFL teams in history, which is the Jaguars. So shout out to her for that. And all I did was sleep. I knew my body was just begging me for rest. And I just slept. I slept the whole day. But when I woke up from the nap, I immediately felt sick. I started sneezing. I even told her, I was like, I don't feel good. And throughout the night, I was super congested. I kept sneezing, and it just wasn't good. And what it reminded me of was, I remember when I was working full-time in-house for different companies. It's not a specific time, but there got to a point where I was 6 years without taking a break, or 5 years without taking a break. And I constantly would feel like this, but I would push through. And I would feel sick and I would push through. And I would think of myself as like, oh, I'm this really workaholic. And I would take pride in that. I would take pride in the fact that I would show up to work sick. I would take pride in the fact that, this was pre 2019, that I would show up, sick to work. And I would take pride in just pushing through and putting my body through it. And it wasn't until I quit my previous role that I got hit with a really big wall of, if you're not going to slow down, we're going to slow down for you. And this is my body talking. My body and my mental health just took a huge dive, and I wasn't ready for it. So that's when I started my fractional consulting. That's when I started I started doing my master's. I finished it. And I feel like as of recent, when starting with you guys, starting with YouTube, going into TikTok, hopefully now expanding over to Instagram, and then upkeeping with the episodes and the TikToks and whatnot. And I'm going to talk about this in TikTok. I need to talk to the person in TikTok who decided that 7 seconds should be trending, videos that are 7 seconds, because if you have ADHD like me, not once in your life have you explained anything in 7 seconds that you have felt good about. Because I can say things in 7 seconds, I just probably won't feel good about them. So I guess my point here is just give yourself permission to just not do it. And the reason I still, because you're probably saying, like, okay, well, why did you give yourself permission to jump on here and record even though your body couldn't? And it's because I wish I would have had somebody tell me this. I wish I would have had somebody who told me, if your body is begging you to slow down, listen to it, because if not, then it's going to tell you to slow down in even harder ways. I was texting one of my friends before I started this, and I said, I've been super sick for the past few weeks, but I don't know what's going on. And she said, well, what about burnout? And I was like, yeah, maybe. Because burnout doesn't necessarily have to be if you're working at a corporate job or a full-time job or a part-time job. Burnout comes from life. Burnout comes from you continuously overexerting yourself and pushing through and feeling like you need a break, but you can't stop. So for the past couple of months, I've been building a brand, attending to my clients, finishing my master's, trying to figure out what comes next, joining communities, being there for networking. And I feel like my body has finally said enough. Remember how we felt 2 years ago? We're about to go down that route. And I have learned to listen to it better. And that's what I'm doing. So I don't have a specific topic to talk about today. I don't have a specific topic to teach you. I don't have a specific topic to be wise and all knowledgeable about. All I'm asking you is to take a moment, listen to your body, listen to your mental health. Maybe don't let your girlfriend cut your hair in your bathroom. Don't get me wrong. But overall, just give yourself permission to do nothing. Because after I am done recording this, I normally listen back to it and I edit it. I'm not even doing that today. I'm recording this to tell you that if you need permission, I'm giving you permission. Don't take that call. Don't write that email. Take the day off. Being in HR, I have seen people give their lives for roles, sacrifice family time, sacrifice marriages, sacrifice being a parent, sacrifice so many things. And I cannot tell you how many times I have been asked to backfill that role, or to get ready to backfill that role, or to terminate that role without a blink of an eye. So if for some reason you think I'm going to let you in on a secret, and if you think that your employer is going to not hire anybody else after you, or if you actually get burnout and you start underperforming and they're not going to reprimand you, terminate you, put you in a performance improvement plan, you're wrong. They are only worried about one thing, no matter how people forward they are. At the end of the day, all owners and every founders, and this is not a how mean could they be, it is just general knowledge, and it makes sense. They just want their company to be successful, and their company cannot be successful if the people that are working within it are burnt out or sick or any of that. So if you really love your job, if you're saying, I really want to be fruitful in my job, I really want to be effective in my job, I love my job, then give yourself grace to take that moment and R&R, rest and recover. I hope that's what R&R means. I'm thinking that's what R&R means. But rest and recover, take your time, spend time with your family. Sometimes feeling burnt out or feeling sick doesn't necessarily mean that you could be in bed all day. A lot of people tell me that they feel guilty. They say, sometimes I call out of work because I'm sick and I don't feel good. But then I'm up and I'm making breakfast or I'm going for a walk and I feel guilty because that means that I could have been working. No. That is your way of recovery. Sometimes my way of recovery is just being in the couch and reading a book and hanging out with my dogs and my girlfriend. Other times it really is rotting in my bed and putting on a comfort TV show and just falling asleep. Other times it includes being outside, getting some sun. There's so many different points of this, but I feel like we don't hear it enough where we tell you to stop and take that moment for you. where we don't tell you, take care of yourself. If no one else is going to do it for you. No one else has ever stopped me and told me, hey, Odette, maybe take some time off. If anything, if I've ever did hear it, it pushed me to be like, no, I can do it. And pushed me to be, for some reason, more towards wanting to finish either a task or to show up or any of that. I really wanted to seem strong. But the strength really comes from listening to yourself and making those sacrifices on the opposite way. Instead of making sacrifices for your job, make sacrifices for your body, make sacrifices for your mental health. Say no to things. I'm sorry I can't go out. I'm sorry I cannot show up to this call. I don't feel good. I'm not going to be performing at my best. So back in, when we had the whole ordeal in 2019, I was sick, and I believe I was in charge of payroll for this company under my duties. And this was around the time where I just didn't take burnout serious. I just didn't take taking a break serious. I just kind of pushed myself because I wanted to prove something. Mind you, I was still just as good, but I wanted to prove something. So I pushed myself. And I remember I made a mistake on payroll. And the mistake, I think, maybe cost the company about $600, if I'm not mistaken. 600, it's something with a six. And it wasn't in the thousands, I'll tell you that much. But I remember I made it. And I remember making the mistake and being so hard on myself. And just, I always tell people, if you think you're hard on me, I got news for you. I'm way harder on myself than anybody ever thinks. So you cannot ever possibly give me feedback that hurts my feelings too much. So I made this mistake, and I'm just kind of beating myself up over it. I am extremely sick at this point. I mean, I was sick. I was sick with the sickness. And I remember, we fixed it. We let it go. It was an easy fix. It wasn't even a hard fix. It didn't even end up costing us that much because we made it up somewhere else. Anyway, and I remember when 3 or 4 months passed by and my performance review comes around. And I remember that day that I was doing payroll, I asked the person that I was reporting to, I said, I'm extremely sick. Can you please do it? They were like, nope, you can do it. You're okay. I believe in you. And we're talking about 102 fever. And I still said, okay, I can do it. I ended up making the mistake. Performance review comes around and they're like, well, we're very upset at you and we're not going to give you the rating that you deserve because remember that one time that you made a mistake in payroll. And my jaw just dropped. And I said, I was extremely sick. I was so sick that I could have gone to the hospital sick. And I decided to push through because I didn't want to put that on your plate. And performance review comes around. It is the only mistake that I have made throughout this entire time this year. It was the only mistake that they could have pointed out that I made that was significant enough. And because of that mistake, they were just so hard on me. And it had happened. That mistake could have been avoided by that person doing payroll and telling you, what, like, take some time off. You're sick. You don't feel good. You're not going to be your best. You're going to make mistakes, because who doesn't make mistakes when they're sick? So when that happened to me, I kind of just like my jaw dropped and I said, I can't believe that I sacrificed my physical health to prove myself to someone who just, one, didn't appreciate it, and two, just didn't realize the severity behind it, didn't realize the severity behind me showing up and doing what I had to do when I was that sick. So again, give yourself permission. And again, if you're wanting permission from someone else, I'm giving you the permission to take the time off, take your PTO. Do not feel guilty for doing nothing. Do not feel guilty for feeling sick and feeling better when you go out to the gym and you work it out, or you go to a sauna, or you go to a spa, or whatever it is that you need to do to recover, do it, because we don't get a lot of reminders to do so. We're constantly in this stupid rat race of just, we need to be productive, we need to be successful, we need to do this. And this is my passion project. Okay. I want this to be such a successful project, not only for myself, but for the people that are helping me behind the scenes. And I want YouTube to be successful, and I want TikTok to be successful, and I want Instagram to be successful. But I also realize that for all of those platforms to be successful, I have to be at 100% and pushing myself to a point where I can no longer do this anymore or focus on it will never get me there. So, nothing groundbreaking, nothing that is going to blow your mind, nothing that is going to make you think, oh my God, I never knew that. No, just a reminder. And I'm recording this a little bit earlier because I have my little cousin's wedding this upcoming week. So I'm hoping to get rest before I have to get on a plane and go. So I am prioritizing my mental health, my physical health, my family, because I'm trying to get better. I'm not going to fly and be around them if I'm sick, but it's time for us to start sacrificing things for things that matter. I will now begin to sacrifice sometimes work for my family. I will sacrifice networking for my pets. I will sacrifice getting to meetings for my physical health. So start thinking of it in that way. Instead of saying I'm sacrificing my morals, or I'm sacrificing the time with my family, or I'm sacrificing my mental health because I really want to do better at work, flip it around and do it the other way around. Look at the things that matter and then sacrifice for those things. I hope it made sense. Like I said, I'm taking cold medication. Last week, you guys got Benadryl, Odette. This week, you're getting not live, but you guys are getting in action sick Odette, who just is tired and not feeling well. So I am feeling good about this haircut though. So shout out to Allie. But I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and thank you so much for your constant support. Thank you all so much. You all rock. You're amazing. If you have subscribed, you're amazing. If you have followed me on TikTok, you're amazing. And I'm sorry for who you get to experience on TikTok. And just overall, thank you for the constant support. We're aiming to hit 50 subscribers by the end of the year. So we're slowly inching closer, and that makes me very, very happy. So thank you. And I hope that you continue to join this journey with me, because I don't know what happens next. That's it. I really have nothing else to say now. So goodbye. Okay, goodbye. That ASMR. Okay, goodbye.